Hi, everyone. We're back. Movie Night Society's back. We didn't leave or anything, but we're back. We're talking about John Wick this week. This is kind of Will's pick to watch the John Wick movies because they're on Tubi, right?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
free with ads,
yeah.
but not very many ads, and haven't seen them before. Heard good things, so figured, hey, why not?
Oh, yeah. You haven't even seen the first one before. That's right.
No,
Okay. Um, yeah, I remember seeing this movie in theaters when it came out. It was like, I don't know, it was kind of a big deal because everyone was like, "Oh, this is Keanu Reeves' comeback," you know? So I was like, "Okay,
I
okay."
remember this being like a pretty big deal. Yeah, we
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah, it's crazy that they finally they made John Wick from Fortnite into a movie and
Woohoo!
then uh but yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, Keanu Reeves is definitely most famous for like The Matrix. Uh I gotta admit, I'm not like the biggest fan of the Matrix movies. I liked the first one, and then the other two were kind of like two had good action, and then three was like too much action. It just felt
How
like a one long climax.
how many Matrix
Uh,
movies are there again?
there's four now. The fourth one
Or
just
okay,
came
that's
out.
what I thought.
That came out like the end of last year, 2021, I think. I didn't like the new one. I kind of liked what it was trying to do, but it was not that good in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um, but so I was like, okay, I like Keanu though. I don't know if I'd say he's like the most amazing actor or anything, but I think he works really well in the right role. Um, which I think this movie kind of
He's
is
breathtaking.
aware. You're
Yeah,
breathtaking.
breathtaking. Had to be done.
But yeah, he seems like a really cool guy, and I I I don't know. It's like I like him, so I decided, okay, I'll go see John Wick, and I really liked it. I think I liked it a little more and a little less on this watch. Um,
Is this like your third time seeing it or fourth time?
no, this is only my second time. I've only seen the John
Oh,
Wick
okay.
movies each like once before,
Okay. I thought you
because
saw it more than once.
I kind of feel like I enjoy them every time like each one I've seen, I like, oh, that was really fun. And then there's like a certain point where I'm like, I kind of forgot what happened in it. It's sort of like, I don't know, fades away in my brain a little bit. Oh no, my cat is playing with the boxes that I just got.
Good old Ash.
Um oh, Ashy. He's,
Cats will play with boxes.
yeah, hold on. I kind of want to show him. Oh my god. Okay.
Show them
He
to the
knocked
internet.
he knocked the box over.
This is an appropriate.
I don't know if
This is
you can't see him, right?
no, not
I
no
think the background. I'd have to
background.
take away the background.
This is an appropriate review to show off an animal, though,
Yeah, I know. I thought that while watching
especially a
this.
pet.
Here, here he is.
Oh, here we go, YouTube. You get to see Julian's cat.
Can you see him?
Yeah,
Okay. Wishy boy.
cute
He's
as
playing
ever.
with that box I just got.
Cats like
Um,
boxes. Tis a fact.
yeah, yeah. You mentioned like this is an appropriate movie to show a pet or animal.
I think
Because
even
I
for
think
people who had not seen John Wick knows about that at least because of like
yeah,
how everybody kind of. I already knew about what happens with the dog going into this because it just that's something that, like people like to mention when it comes to this movie. So I think a lot of people
yeah.
like myself who hadn't seen it before probably already knew about that or had some idea going in, just thanks
Can
to
you
the
hear?
internet.
I'm sorry. Can you hear Ash messing with the box?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Ash, he's gonna be. Oh, there's like paper in there he's playing with. What?
Cats
Oh,
boxes
here.
are like cat magnets. They really are.
Yeah. I'm gonna put this paper in the other room in the box so he can play with it without making too much noise. I'll be right back.
All right, I guess it's up to me to fill in until he's gone or until he's
Nope,
back.
I'm back
Oh,
already.
Guess who's back?
Um, yeah, I can't remember if seeing the movie because I saw it like I think opening weekend or maybe the second weekend. I'm trying to remember if like that was already like common knowledge. Like, oh yeah, I mean spoilers. I mean we spoil things all the time for these videos, but yeah, the dog dies pretty early on.
And
Uh,
even though I knew it was coming, it's still very sad.
it was so sad. Yeah,
Cute little puppy.
I think I will say like I'm not usually into like trigger warnings too much, but like if you you know are really attached to your pets or dogs or whatever, like that seems gonna be hard to watch. That's all I'll say. Um, I've seen like some movies where like a cat dies and it's it makes me really sad. Um,
Yeah, I
so
have
yeah,
cats and
this
dogs, so it's sad.
and like oh my god, dude, the dog in this movie is like the cutest
It is a very cute
fucking
dog.
dog ever. Like oh
It's a
my
very
god.
cute dog. So
Uh,
yeah, when we saw it, I'm just
yeah,
I
it's
know this
like
dog. I know this dog's gonna die. It's such a cute dog too. It's such a shame. I
yeah,
mean, you gotta just be such a vile, evil person to kill a dog.
yeah. Um, okay, I want to hear your initial like overall thoughts on the movie. Did you like
Okay,
it? Did
sure.
you not like it?
Okay, so overall, quick impressions. I liked the movie. Going in, I knew very little except that the dog dies and that there was going to be a lot of gun action in the movie. That's kind of I know obvious, but that's all I knew going in. So nothing else. I didn't know. Like we were talking earlier, I had no idea Willem Dafoe was in this. So that's always a pleasant surprise because I love Willem Dafoe. Um, so yeah, initial thoughts. I enjoyed it. I liked all the action scenes were very well done. They had a lot of really cool camera work that they did with this. A lot of like the fight choreography was done really well. Um, I think it was like a very solid revenge story. You can relate to John Wick. He loses his wife, and then he gets the dog from her. When she passes away, she makes sure that he gets this dog. So it's not just like a dog he got himself, it's a gift from his wife. So you just know it's like it's going to be even worse when this dog dies because that was like it was from his wife, the last thing that she could give him. So they had something to love after she was gone. Very sweet. So I think like the motivation, obviously, there I mean, they kill his dog. You want to see these guys die. So you're like, all right, come on, John, you gotta take these out. I want to see you guys take these out. So yeah, everything was pretty solid there. I do have some gripes with the movie because some things felt a bit anticlimactic. Maybe you might know what I mean, but maybe when we talk about it, I just thought like, oh, okay, that's how that ended. Okay. Some things I thought were like a little confusing because I had to stop and think and kind of connect the dots a little bit, not a whole lot, but there's not a lot that's really explained to you in this movie. You just kind of have to figure some things out. It's not hard to figure out, but you do gotta kind of piece some things together because the movie doesn't really tell you outright. But yes, some things I do have an issue with, but overall, I think it's really solid and I liked it. So those are my quick abridged thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I'll say what I thought. I mean, the first time I saw it, I really liked it. Uh, and this time, I liked it. Some things I like really appreciated more, and then some things I was like, oh, this is kind of. I thought some parts of the movie felt oddly slow. I don't know if you felt that, um,
Some parts, yeah. I,
but
I
I
think
definitely have my
overall
issues with.
it's paced pretty well, but yeah, I think there's some like pacing issues.
Yeah, I think like I mean definitely the good things in this movie I think outshine pretty much all the
Yeah,
flaws, but yeah, I do have some uh I guess issues with the movie. Um I don't know if I can articulate them, but yeah, just like some parts of the movie felt slow and I kind of agree that some of it felt anticlimactic, but I kind of feel like there's an argument for that, you know? So we'll get into it. Um I guess yeah, like you kind of explained what the sort of inciting incident or whatever is of this movie.
Hmm.
But what I really like the setup in this movie
Yeah,
because it's
it's
so
very strong setup.
it's strong, but it's so like atypical for like an action movie. You
Mhm.
know, it's not like we don't know anything about John Wick's past in the first part, and
Yeah,
I love that. I love the reveal later that like oh yeah, you just pissed off one of the like the most badass dudes ever.
yeah, I like that we get to learn that at the same time as like the one of the
The
main
villain,
villains.
yeah, yeah. I thought that was great. Uh, but I like just how kind of simple and like almost like non-grandiose the sort of the inciting incidents and motivations are in this movie.
Mm.
It's like, okay, wife is dead in the first like minute or two of this movie. Like she's already dead. In most
Yeah,
action movies, I feel like the inciting incident would be like, oh, they killed my wife or
yeah,
killed my family member or
right.
like kidnapped my daughter or something.
Yes.
Uh, in this one, it's like they kill his dog, which is like, oh, it's still very sad, but it's like, oh, that's kind of like it's kind of silly when you kind
Yes,
of
good.
just
Is
say
it is
that.
it is it worth like all the people you'll end up killing because of this? Because he
Yeah,
kills a lot of people in this movie.
yeah, for over a dog. But I mean, there's obviously more to it than that. But like
Yeah,
that
like he
sort
even
of
says
is
in the
the
scene.
yeah. Uh, but it's like I don't know. It's just so like funny in a weird way. I mean, like the villains don't set out to like they don't know this guy.
No,
They're
that's the
just
funny part is like,
completely random. Like
yeah, they have no idea
it's
who John Wick is. They think he's just some random guy, and the guy
yeah,
wanted his car, and that's
and
it.
the guy who kills the dog and steals John Wick's car is like the the son of this like real powerful like uh I guess like mob boss.
Yeah, who John Wick worked for.
Yes, it's just and it's completely coincidental. Like the
Yeah,
son didn't know anything about John Wick or anything, and I think that's so great. Like that it's all just
I could see
I don't
some people
know.
thinking that's like kind of silly, just because like, oh, like that's such a huge
Oh,
coincidence.
it's great
But
though. Like
yeah, I think it works for this, and it's a
yeah.
movie. You gotta suspend your disbelief. You know, it just coincidences like that happen in movies.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's fine.
Yeah, and I don't know, it's so it just makes for a great reveal too. Again, like yeah, you find out at the same time as the guy that John Wick is like this super badass hitman
Yeah, I
who
love how his father is the one telling him this, and obviously he knows about John Wick's capabilities. So even
yeah.
he's just telling them like, "You better run because what's coming for you."
Yeah.
But of course, like the guy's like, I don't think is really like convinced. I mean, he does like run, but like until he actually kind of gets attacked by John Wick, I don't think he seems like too concerned.
Yeah, he's essentially like this young dude who's kind of like, "Oh, I'm invincible," you know?
Hmm.
Like, yeah, I'm not scared of this guy and everyone's telling him like you should be. Uh yeah, and I like that a lot, and I like the relationship between the father and the son. How like the father almost seems to like hate him.
Yeah,
Like he says to John Wick at some point like, "You got out of the hitman business and you know started a like a new life with a lovely wife, and I got my son." It's like you got the better like end of the deal here.
pretty much.
It says something like that, and it's
Well,
just
hey,
it's so
how the
funny.
son acts, I can't really blame him.
Yeah, the son is like a real douchebag. Like he's such a
I
piece
mean,
of
he
shit.
breaks into some guy's house, steals his car, and kills his dog just because he didn't want to sell his car to him. So that should tell
Yeah,
you what kind of person he is. So I can't
yeah,
can't really fault the father for not being the biggest fan of his son.
yeah. And I don't know. It's I feel like I've seen movies before where like there's I don't know. I feel like maybe in horror movies I'm trying to think of an example, but I can't at the moment. I guess like Don't Breathe. I don't know. I don't think you saw that with me.
Yeah.
Don't Breathe. It's a movie where these three like kind of small time criminals, robbers, like uh, break into this blind man's house, and it turns out that the blind guy is like this veteran, and he's like has these heightened other like his other senses are heightened, and he's like fighting back really hard against the criminals, but like the blind guy is like the bad guy. I don't know. It kind of like is reversed in this movie. It's like, oh, the villains break in, and the hero is the guy who ends up being like the super like badass like that you don't want to mess with. Uh, that's like a really fun premise, and yeah, and it was like seeing the movie the first time without again, this was like before any of these sequels and everything. It was like, what is this movie going to be about? Because everyone's like praising it and everything. Like, what is this? And like for the first like I don't know, half hour, maybe 20 minutes of the movie, it's like there's no action, and you're kind of like, what is this? Like, what is going on? Is this like a drama about this dude and like his wife dying? And it's like, is this an instance where they put a guy with a gun on the poster, but it's like, it's not really an action movie, it's something else. But of course it becomes an action movie, and that's the payoff.
It doesn't.
Yeah. There's some great action in this, and we'll get to it. But yeah, this setup is just like, it's so good. It really like just kind of sets everything up so well about like every character like involved in the main plot. Oh yeah, okay. John Wick is ultimate badass silent dude, and villain is this asshole like like young guy, and his more collected father. Although the father seems to like almost just like, I don't know, lose it at a certain point in this movie, where it's like by the end of the movie he's just like laughing at how ridiculous everything is.
Yeah.
That actor was having a lot of fun, I feel. I can't remember the guy's name, and it's Michael. I'm gonna totally butcher the pronunciation. I think he's he's a Swedish actor. Michael Nickfist. I don't think I pronounced that right at all.
It's
but
probably as close as you're gonna get.
Yeah, but he's great. I've seen him in other things.
I really like the character that he, like the father that he played. Vigo.
Yeah.
That's just.
I think so. Yeah.
Vigo. Yeah, I liked that. It's not like, okay, John Wick just like going after his son. He's got to take him out because of that. I mean, that does happen, but I like that they had this relationship before, and that you could clearly tell that Vigo liked John Wick. And
yeah, like everyone respects him.
Yeah, so it's like, it's just probably got to be breaking his heart that he has to go after John Wick like this, because you could tell that he liked him. It's like, well, you're going after my son though, so it's like I got no choice but to take you out, but I'm not happy about it. It's always kind of like what I got from like their interactions. They had pretty fun chemistry.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that actor did a great job. I like too that after the father finds out that like, oh, my son just pissed off like the baddest dude in town, he calls John Wick and tries to like completely diffuse the situation right away.
Let's be civil here. Let's be civil.
And John Wick doesn't say anything, and
yet he says everything.
Yeah, I think after like John Wick hangs up, the father's like kind of like henchman guy is there with him, and he asks him like, what did he say?
I like that henchman guy.
Yeah.
He's like the one, I guess, American who he doesn't speak Russian, so he always has to ask like, English, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
I found that guy really funny.
Yeah, that guy's in those like are they like Allstate commercials, or he's in like some kind of insurance commercial series?
I would wouldn't be surprised because I kept looking at him and be like, he looks familiar, but I don't
Yeah,
know what he's from.
it's definitely him. I can't remember what
He looked
animatronics it
familiar
is.
though.
But yeah, like after the father calls to like defuse the situation with John Wick doesn't say anything and just hangs up on him. The henchman guy asks him like, "What did he say?" And the father's just like, "Enough." Like he didn't say a single word, but that's all he needed to do.
Hmm.
Like he knows he's fucked. And like yeah, and then basically the movie kind of like evolves into this whole thing where there's this like I don't know what to call it, like a hitman community.
Pretty much, yeah. That's what I
It's
was kind
so
of like trying to learn, like when he kind of introduces like that part. It's like that's
yeah
kind of the thing that you kind of like, you know what they kind of mean, but they're obviously very, very subtle about it. They don't just outright say what they are. You kind of have to just like, okay, this is what this is. It's like,
yeah
this is interesting, and that they have like their own rules. Like, oh, like you can't, um, you know, like do hit on anybody here. It's like against our
yeah.
rules, and you will be punished for that.
I think the place that there's like a hotel that all the hitmen kind of stay at. I think it's
Yeah,
called like the Continental, and yeah, it's
is
like business on the Continental grounds is like forbidden, so you can't like kill other hitmen
yeah,
there and
it's like
stuff
a
like that.
neutral zone.
Yeah, I was gonna say like this movie is a lot like a video game because it's like okay,
Yeah,
John Wick starts out with like this little briefcase of guns and some gold coins. They like the hitmen all deal with each other with like gold coins,
yeah,
which is a really fun this little detail. And then it's like he goes to like the hotel, which is essentially like the hub world in a
yeah,
weird way. It's
yeah.
like the
That's a good
rest
way to put it.
area,
That's a good
and
way to
and it's
put it.
like oh they got a medic there, and I think
Yeah,
in the sequels and stuff there's like oh there's like a tailor there where he can get a suit and everything, and it's like
yeah. It's really like the hub where it's like, oh, here's where you go to get healed. Here's where you go to get your upgrades or
yeah
whatever.
it's
Yeah,
it's
it is very much like that. That's a good way to put it.
yeah it's very video gamey and like very I feel like very comic booky in a weird way too. This reminded me of a comic book in some ways. The whole
Yeah,
revenge plot, especially,
definitely.
feels like a comic from like the '90s, like The Crow or Spawn, but without the fantasy element, I guess. Um, but it's yeah, it's that's what I like about this one in particular. I remember liking the other two John Wick movies, but I don't remember the plots of the sequels. Like I kind of just feel like they're and we're gonna watch them, so this could easily change. But like, I kind of felt like they were sort of plots that were there just to get action going. Like, I really don't remember what happened in the sequels other than like some cool action scenes. But this one is like, it's still fun, just like in this the setup, and then the whole discovery of this again, this like hitman community. Uh, it is really fun and interesting. It's like I think that's the stuff that keeps you really engaged with it. Um, and then yeah, the action is like really fun. Um, yeah, the first real action scene is when John Wick he gets like a sledgehammer and he like breaks open the floor of a room in his house. It's like right after the dog dies, right?
Yeah,
Um,
pretty
and
much.
yeah, he has like all his guns and uh, you know, all of his Hitman stuff all stashed in there.
It's like
And
we're playing Hitman now, playing the game
yeah,
Hitman.
and the uh, yeah, the father Vigo uh, like sends in a squad of people to like kill John Wick at his
Yeah,
house,
yep.
and that's the first real like action scene where you get to see
What he can do.
like yeah, and it's very well choreographed action. It's very
Yeah,
fun.
it is. All of it was very well choreographed. Yeah,
Like Keanu Reeves is like
it's never hard to
50.
tell what. Yeah, it's never hard to tell what's going on in any of the action scenes. That's what's nice. I could see like a lot of action stuff, especially with guns. Like sometimes like the camera's just like moving around so much you can't always make out exactly what's going on and everything. I didn't think that was an issue in this. I thought everything was pretty
Yeah,
clear. You could tell all the action that was going on. It wasn't like too close or too far. It was like just at the right spot. It wasn't too shaky. Because I hate when it's like the camera's too shaky in action scenes. Didn't feel like that was a problem in this.
No, it didn't. It was very well handled. Yeah, I'm trying to look at like who the director. I guess there's two directors, but there's only one who's credited.
I liked I guess while you're looking at that, I also liked how he didn't like just use his gun. Like he used with knives, he'd use like his hands if he needed to, in like really creative ways. Like I like how
there's
he would
real...
like grab people's faces and kind of like push them aside, then like shoot some people and then like just shoot that guy in the head next.
Yeah.
And very like creative ways of like kind of like manipulating other people like around him to like get other kills in. He did that a lot in this, and it was really cool.
They do a good job of using like the environment that he's in too.
Yeah, which I like. I like when they use their environments to their advantage.
And it reminds me, there's a scene where the Vigo is like telling his son about John Wick, and he's like, I once saw him go into a bar with like 3 other guys and killed all 3 of them with a pencil.
Yeah.
Like, I just like that image is great.
I like how he goes up to like his henchman and just like pretends to like stab him with a pencil too. Like, ooh, this is what he did. I saw that.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah. The Vigo's great. He's a really fun villain.
Yeah.
And I like how it's like, again, things in this movie almost feel like so absurd and over the top. Like, again, like, oh yeah, John Wick killed 3 people with a pencil. That's ridiculous, but it's the way that he delivers that information is so straight, that it's like, I don't know, it makes it funnier, and it also makes it like, oh yeah, he's like badass. I looked up the director of the movie. Well, the 2 directors are both they've done stunt coordination for like movies like I think through the late 90s to now. And the guy Chad Stahelski, he was Keanu Reeves' stunt double in The Matrix. So it's like, okay, so they've worked together before. And I mean, Keanu Reeves, like, did lots of great choreography and stuff in The Matrix too. And it's like, it's impressive that he's still, he's still really good at it in this movie. And he's like 50 now, which is kind of insane, or at least 50 in this movie, right? Maybe I should look up how old he was. Yeah, he's 58 now, so he was like about...
Yeah, you would not think, because he really doesn't look any different right now than he does in this movie.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's like, man, the guy's almost 60.
It's because he's breathtaking.
He is breathtaking. I love his hair in this movie. It's like, so, I don't know, just clean, and
it is very clean.
I don't know, it's
slick.
Yeah, it's very
slick like John Wick.
Yeah. And where were we in the plot? I guess we were just like talking about the Continental and
we kind of went off
Hitman
on
stuff.
Yeah, we kind of went off on that.
Yeah. So he like gets to the Continental. I just gotta say, there's like some really good supporting actors in this movie who get like really quick roles. I mean, you mentioned Willem Dafoe. He's got a little bit of a bigger role, but there's like Lance Reddick, who's at the desk, and Ian McShane is like the guy that John talks to in the bar, or like the club or whatever. He like talks to the bartender afterwards, and she I think tells John Wick like where to find Vigo's son. And we should talk about Willem Dafoe's character, because he kind of becomes important later
because
on,
when he's introduced at the funeral, you know that they're acquaintances, but you don't really understand the relationship at first, and then it becomes a little bit like more clear, especially since we didn't talk how what was his name? Vigo, yeah. Hires Willem Dafoe's character, his name is Marcus, I believe, hires him to take out John Wick for 2 million. And it's
Yeah,
like,
he puts out a
okay.
contract on him.
Yeah, so you're really not sure about this character at first, since okay, they appear to be friends, but in the world of assassins, like how much does that really mean? Because like, well, if you got we're friends, but if you got a big enough hit out on you, I'll take you out because he agrees to do the job. So it's like I thought a lot of the movie would be like John Wick kind of fighting off Marcus, which was not the case. So
Yeah. We'll get to what happens a little later because there's a whole scene in the club before that happens. But yeah, so yeah, John Wick like checks into the Continental and finds out where to find Vigo's son, and he's like at this club called the Hole or something like that. And or was it the Hole or the Red Circle? I can't remember now for some reason. It was
I
something like that.
don't know.
Um, but
Red
it's
Circle,
like
yeah, okay, it was the Red Circle.
it's kind of hard to like explain this movie plot wise because it's just gonna sound like John Wick goes here, action scene,
Kills a lot of people, then
yeah,
then leaves wounded.
yeah. So John Wick goes to the Hole. I call it the Hole again, the Red Circle, and uh, yeah, just like finds Vigo's son. Um, Vigo's son escapes, but there's a whole like
I
chase
love how
scene and everything.
he's got a towel just like running through like the
Yeah,
whole
because
place.
he was in a pool or
Yeah,
jacuzzi.
I just thought that was so funny. It's just the guy's like just in a towel. I think he had like swim trunks or something underneath though.
I think so. Yeah.
But he's just in the towel. He doesn't ever drop the towel. He just like runs away the whole time in the towel, and I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. I love all the just like the little details like that in this movie that just make it kind of like more fun than the average action movie. Yeah, they run through the club and John Wick's killing a bunch of dudes. I think maybe what were some of your favorite like kills or just action bits? Because there's one scene in there's one moment in this action scene where I think it's this scene. John Wick is like killing a bunch of dudes, and like he like shoots this one guy, or like hits him into a pole or whatever column, and like the guy is kind of like dazed, and he's like, "Oh god!" And John Wick is like reloading his gun right in front of him, and then the guy like finally kind of like composes himself and tries to run it, and John Wick just shoots him. I don't know why. I thought that was so funny. Like that made me laugh really hard.
It's hard for me to I just saw the movie, but it's kind of hard for me to pick just one because like the action scenes like and the kills they go by like so quick, and because the movie has like a lot of action, it's kind of hard to like pinpoint like specific favorites for me. I liked all the stuff that he did with the knife, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff was pretty cool. I can't think of like anything. He did like a lot of cool stuff. I know that one thing I really liked was like there was a guy hiding behind a pillar, and like that guy's foot, like just the tip of the foot sticks out, and he shoots the guy's the tip of the foot, and that causes the guy to kind of go forward a little bit, and they just shoots him in the head after that. But just like I like little things like that. Like he can take just advantage of like any like little weak point or something like that. It's always fun. I like stuff like that. So that's probably one of them.
Yeah. So, John Wick. I kind of like. I mean, like we know he's not really gonna succeed here because the movie is still like there's still a lot of movie left.
See, I wasn't sure watching that because I saw that there's kind of a lot of movie left, but I thought, okay, he's gonna kill him here, and then like he's gonna be fighting Marcus for like this part of the movie. That didn't happen.
True. Or he could be fighting the dad or something.
Yeah, I really expected him to kill him here. I did. So when he actually got away, I was like, oh, okay.
John Wick doesn't like really succeed here, and he's like really beaten up at the end of it, but manages to escape alive and gets back to the Continental, and is like, is there is the doctor in? He's like, yeah, 24/7. And yeah, the doctor fixes him up, and again, it's just like these things felt so video gamey. Like the doctor is like, I don't know, like, yeah, you should rest up, like you're really in bad shape. But like if you gotta like take some of these pills and like yeah, you'll be able to function. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's I feel like that would be like an option in a video game. Like oh, like you're gonna use these pills and they're gonna work for a while. But
It'll regenerate your health enough. Don't worry.
yeah, but it's like a temporary fix. Uh, yeah, I don't know. It's just very funny. And so Vigo puts out a hit. He had put on a hit for 2 million. I don't know if it's $2 million or 2 million gold coins.
I don't know. They just says
I
2
don't think they
million.
don't. I don't think they specify it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, this is when we see Marcus again too, because you got John Wick
yes,
kind of lying in the bed. He's all beat up, so he's resting now. And this is where we see Marcus with the sniper rifle. And this is where I thought, okay, like we're gonna get like a whole big fight here. But I also thought like, okay, something's gonna happen because like he has a clear shot of John Wick, and because like you're still not really sure about their like relationship, it's like, is he really gonna do it? And that's when we get like another assassin
yeah.
that comes
Perkins.
after him. Yeah, Perkins.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know this actress. She was really good. I'm gonna look her up, but keep talking.
yeah. So he fires like a warning shot, like next to John Wick, and we know it's basically a warning shot to
Yeah,
let him know because like he could have easily taken it out there. So at that point, okay, he's not trying to kill John Wick. He's helping him because he helped John Wick right there. So then we get the fight scene with him and Perkins.
yeah, yeah. Perkins is played by Adrienne
Wasn't she?
Palicki.
Was she the waitress? Not waitress, like bartender that was in the
No,
movie earlier, or was that a
I
different
think
character?
I think they definitely met each other in the bar, and she's like, "Good to see you again, John,"
Okay, she
and
was
all
that
that.
one. Okay, I couldn't
Yeah,
remember. Was like, okay, I know we were introduced to this character, but like, who was she again? Was she the one behind the
you
bar? I couldn't
you know what
remember.
like this. You know what this movie kind of like felt like in a weird way.
Hmm.
It felt like because we have all these like I don't know legacy sequels to movies now, and we have all these like uh movies where there hasn't been a movie in the franchise for a while, but like they finally come back and it's like this kind of reboot sort of
Mm.
thing. Uh, this is like that, but without the rest of the series beforehand. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It,
that's
it's
a
like
good way to put it.
here's this dude who like retired and he like has to come back in for one last job. Uh, but it's like yeah, there's no other movies before this, so it's just like you get all the information right away.
Hmm.
And like I don't know, it's something again. It's just like a cool idea. Uh, but yeah, it's like I could easily imagine like a whole John Wick almost like prequel series that like I don't
Yeah,
know if I want to
that would
give.
definitely work
Yeah, it would work. I don't
because
know if
he's
I want
got
to
this
give them
this
that
history.
idea, but like
Yeah, don't. They'll probably do it. Don't give
yeah,
them
they
that
probably
idea.
will. I think they'll do it at some point. But like yeah, it feels like okay, there's like a history with all these characters that he's meeting already. Even like he calls like a guy to like he calls a guy and he's like, I'd like to make a dinner reservation. And then like these cleaner guys come up to like clean up all the dead bodies in John's house, like at the beginning, or like at the after all those guys like storm his house. And it's like, oh, they know each other too. Like that was
John Wick knows everybody in this movie, and everybody knows John Wick.
yeah, but it's like, oh, we don't know who the hell you are,
Yeah,
but
just
it,
did you
but
mentioned
it works.
you mentioned the police officer too? Did you mention him?
Oh no, I didn't. Yeah, the police officer
Yeah,
guy.
you're
I
like,
love
oh,
that.
what's gonna go on here? And it's like, oh, he knows the police officer too, of course.
Yeah,
I like how it's like noise complaints. It's
yeah,
like
noise
we're getting some
complaints.
noise complaints. So
Yeah,
John
and
Wick
there's
just
like
kind of
a
like shows them. It's
because
like,
I
oh,
kind of
okay.
I mean I forgot a lot of like little details in this movie like that. I was like, wait, the police show up? What the hell? Like, does he like kill the police? I don't remember this.
Yeah, you're
It's
not
like
sure. Like I wasn't sure.
the
It's like what he's gonna do here, but it's like, oh,
the
okay,
police
he knows the
officer like
police.
clearly like there's a dead body like in the background and he like sees it and like they both acknowledge it and it's like yeah, noise complaints. Yeah, noise
Mhm,
complaints. Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
It's like, oh yeah, typical. It's just like so routine for them. It's like it's funny. Like it's funny to
Yeah,
get these like
I was not expecting that. So
yeah, even the police are they know.
everybody knows
Uh
John Wick.
yeah. Um very fun. I don't remember if the police officer shows up in the sequels because I mean like, you know,
I mean, he was only in like
we're
that one scene for 30 seconds, essentially.
yeah, but
So
of course like people like other characters you see in the Continental uh are going to appear in the sequels cuz like the Continental is a big part of the series.
mhm.
Um it's like yeah, it's fun to rewatch this movie knowing that there's sequels and being like, "Oh, is he going to come back? Is Willem Dafoe going to come back?" And then I was like, "Oh shit, no, he's dead."
Yeah,
Which is like, "Ah, come on."
I know. I saw it coming too. I was like, it's
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe. He's gonna die. They're gonna kill him off. They always
Yeah.
kill Willem Dafoe off when he shouldn't be killed off, but they do it anyway. Shame on
Yeah.
you. So yeah,
Um
I already felt like that was gonna happen.
yeah. Okay, wait, I think we were talking about the Perkins scene.
Yeah.
Uh where they fight each other. Yeah, John Wick is like so beaten up but still manages to fight off Perkins pretty well. She's like crawling in the hallway after being beat to
I liked
shit.
her fighting style too. It reminded me of Black Widow's.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
it
because
was really
obviously,
fun.
like, she's a woman, so she's just physically not as strong as a man. So they have to fight in kind of different ways. And it's kind of like with Black Widow, where uses more like jujitsu and judo, kind of like a lot of flipping around. She uses her body more and like the weight of her body to do things to kind of like get you into like a vulnerable position. It's like it very
Yeah,
much
she's
reminds me
not
of
like
Black
this.
Widow. No, because again, it's like even though John Wick's like injured, he's still got like more physical strength. So I like when they give the female characters like these different styles to kind of compensate for that. So like, and it's just fun to watch. Like it's the same with Black Widow. Like all the like things they do with like their legs, like they wrap the legs around and they flip you around and stuff like that. I find it entertaining because it's just like I find that a bit more realistic than just like, oh, here's like this small woman and she can fight off like 20 guys with just punches and kicks. It's like I don't see it. But like this type of fighting style is like, okay, yeah, I think this makes sense and it's fun to watch too. So
Yeah, she kind
that's
of
fun seeing.
uses John Wick's strength against him in a way.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's nice.
yeah,
It's cool.
yeah, and I like just in general that John Wick is put in a situation where he's not as capable, you know, because I feel
Yeah, he's,
like
he's stitched up and he's
once you
wounded.
once you introduce like, oh, this guy is like a huge badass
Yeah, you have to
and
almost
he can
handicap
kill.
him in a way to
Yeah,
make it even.
and it's like okay, earlier on he's like talking to Ian McShane and he's like oh I'm rusty or whatever, but it's like okay
Sure,
sure,
bro. Sure, bro.
but then like okay yeah he really does get beaten up. It's like oh okay, um, so yeah it's like they I don't know all the action stuff like all the action kind of tropes are handled really well here. Um, and yeah so he manages to still beat Perkins and I'm pretty sure I'm trying to look it up here. Uh, maybe I'm wrong. The guy that he meets in the hallway and has like him like take Perkins. Am I fucking wrong? For some reason, okay, I don't think I have the actor's name right. I'm gonna try to look it up, but
I know the character's name was Harry, right?
was it Harry?
Or was it Henry? No, I think it was Henry.
Shit, I don't remember.
Harry or Henry.
Okay, it was Harry.
Okay, I was right the
Um,
first time.
I'm like I know this guy. I've seen him in other stuff. Um. Anyway, I'll look it up later.
I was surprised that he didn't have a very big role in this movie.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of like, oh, he's dead already. I kind of liked that character, even though he wasn't in it very long. It's like,
Yeah, that kind of surprised me, and I was a little bummed out too because he seemed cool. And I know you're like an assassin too, but it felt like he should have had his guard up a little bit more around like another fellow assassin. Like they probably know how to get out of dangerous situations, so maybe be like a little bit more cautious. So it's like,
yeah,
okay, well, whatever. It was
you know,
just surprising that he
I guess
died.
I thought originally that this guy was Richard Roundtree, who played Shaft. But then I was like, wait a minute, he's Shaft would be a lot older. But he looks. I just looked up, like he kind of looks like a young Richard Roundtree. So maybe that's why I got confused.
Should have been Michael Cera.
It should have been Michael Cera.
Oh, just have Michael Cera play Shaft.
Oh God, I feel like I just saw something recently or heard something where like Michael Cera was originally supposed to play a certain character in something, and it was going to be. Did you mention that to me?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't know. Anyway, this has nothing to do with
nothing.
John Wick. John Wick should have been played by Michael Cera.
I would see that movie.
That would be like hilarious. That would
be. I'd love to see that movie. I can't even picture that. That'd be fun.
So I'm trying to think. So yeah, he leaves him with he leaves Perkins with Harry and goes. What?
Oh, nothing. I don't know why, just because Willem Dafoe's in this, and then you said he leaves him with Harry. Not Harry Osborn. Wrong movie with Willem Dafoe. Wrong movie with Willem Dafoe. That was a stupid joke, but that just popped in my head.
Well, what happens after this? Because he leaves Perkins with him, and shit, what happened next? I don't even remember now.
I think that's where he is able to get the info of where Vigo's stash is from Perkins.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which is a church.
Vigo has like a stash of money. I guess
and
they're
a whole bunch
money
of
laundering or something.
But he's got like more than money. He's got like I think documents, like classified documents and stuff like that. And like he had blackmail on people, stuff like because he says that. So he had like more than just money. He had like a lot of things.
And it's like, well, why would he keep all this in one place? You gotta just kind of ignore that. You gotta just kind of suspend your disbelief there. He goes into this. The stash is like in a church, and he like goes in, and there's all these like bodyguards there who are like kind of pretending to be like people praying. Just like immediately kills all of them, and then like shoots the priest or bishop or whatever he is. I don't know. And he the guy's like you motherfucker. And
whoa, you're not a real priest. I think you're not a real priest.
Is this a cover? And it is. And there's like this stash of money in the back, and he burns it all. And I like this little bit where the guy is like, if I tell you how to like get in to the stash, like Vigo's gonna kill me. And he's like, and John Wick's just like yeah. like yeah, so and he tells him how to open it, and then later on, like Vigo kills him. As like John Wick is like watching from the
he wasn't lying. Vigo does kill him.
Yeah. And then shit, what happens next? See, these are parts where I was kind of like, okay, the movie's like getting a little bit weird to call it slow, but a little slow in a way. It felt like I wasn't as engaged with things.
Well, I think after that, like Vigo shows up, so John Wick goes after Vigo, and he's not able to take him out. He gets like hit by a car.
That's right.
And then they have John Wick captured. Which, man, why you don't just like kill him right there? Because man, if you give this man one chance to escape, I guess they would have killed him though if Marcus did not intervene. Because they're about to kill John Wick, like about to suffocate him with a bag over his head, and then Marcus saves him again.
And John Wick fights him off, and what he like crashes into Vigo's car, and then forces Vigo to tell him where his son is, in exchange for Vigo's life.
Yeah, that was pretty
And
cool. With that was a pretty cool scene, like him hopping on the car and just like shooting into it.
yeah. And there was one, I can't remember if it was in this part or later on in the car scene, where like someone rolls on top of John's car, and John like shoots up at him as he's rolling up like on top of the car. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
I can't remember which scene it is, but it definitely happened. Yeah, the guy's just like rolling over on top of the car, and John Wick's in the I think he's in the front seat, and he's like shooting the guy through the top of the car as he's rolling over it. Just great action. And yeah, so John Wick finds the safe house that Vigo's son is at, and yeah, tracks him down and eventually kills him. And then Vigo's like, Vigo kind of tries to get revenge on John for killing his son. So it's like a vicious cycle. And he goes to Marcus's house because he essentially realizes like, oh, Marcus betrayed me, because he had every opportunity to kill John Wick and could have, but didn't. And yeah, he beats the crap out of him, and then kills Willem Dafoe, which was like, no. I was like, I really wanted John Wick to come in and save him, because I was like, it was weird because I thought that Willem Dafoe was in more of the movies, but I guess I remembered wrong.
Yeah, I knew when the guys surrounded Willem Dafoe, I was like, that's it for him. Like his character's dying here. It's because it just seems to happen with Willem Dafoe when he's in movies. It's like he's gonna die here. I don't know why these movies want to kill off Willem Dafoe, but they seem to like doing that. Pisses me off. So I knew it was over for him. I mean, I was like you, hoping it's like maybe John Wick will save him, but probably not. And yeah, Willem Dafoe gets killed. And it makes me very sad.
And then how does John finds out? Oh, that's right. Perkins gets a call from, I think, the Continental or someone, and she is like in this, I don't know what it's called. She goes somewhere, and a bunch of guys are there waiting to kill her because she violated the Continental's rules by
this was kind of one
John.
of the scenes I was talking about that felt like a little anticlimactic. Like, oh, that's how she dies. It's like,
well, I guess it's like, well, she was essentially like, I don't know. I mean, the whole kind of movie operates on this like weird code of honor that these like hitmen have. It's like, well, she broke the code of honor. She got to be executed. Makes sense to me.
What was like the point of like kind of like, why not just have like John Wick kill her like when she first tries to kill him? Then like just I didn't really like get like why keep this character around then, you know?
I don't know. I guess just to have some character, I guess.
I don't know. That's like kind of one minor complaint I have is like I didn't really get the point of this.
I feel like it was almost more to world build in a way. Like, oh, well, what happens when you do violate the Continental's rules? Oh,
yeah, I think I would have preferred if like she tried to fight John Wick again, and like she clearly like it kind of ends like the way their first fight does. Like she gets beat, and she kind of has to like limp off or get something because she's injured, and then like the Continental finds her and it's like,
yeah, or
you
even
thought you got away or something. But
maybe even if she like fought those guys,
yeah, something
were there
like
to execute her.
something like a little bit more. It just felt like a little anticlimactic. Like we just got to kind of wrap this part up and move on to something else.
Yeah, maybe a little more dialogue with like her and Ian McShane or something.
Yeah, like something a little bit more. I just felt like, oh, that's it for her. Okay, the movie just seemed like they were making her to be like kind of more important, and then just kind of offs her like that. I thought was a little weird.
Yeah, I guess
I would like a little bit more of a satisfying conclusion, but like, you know, it's like throughout the whole movie, it's like pretty minor. It's not like that big a deal because she wasn't like a big character to begin with, really, either way. So it's not like, oh man, this ruins the movie for me or anything. But just like I would have liked a little bit more like satisfying conclusion to her character than I think what happened. But um, that's what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Ian McShane tells John that, like, oh, Vigo's gonna get on a helipad and fly away in a helicopter. Here's where he is. And John Wick goes to meet him there, or well, he goes to kill Vigo, and a whole fight scene ensues where John is in his car that he gets back. Well, the Continental gives him the car, and it's assumed that it's the same car that the son stole. I assume, right? I mean, I don't know
I think
cars
so.
super well, but it looked like the same car to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then John Wick goes, and yeah, I like that John Wick is in his car this entire fight scene, and the other guys are like just kind of like out and walking, like on foot, trying to get him.
Yeah.
It was a fun scene. And then yeah, he catches up to Vigo, and then he goes like, "No more bullets, no more guns." They just fight hand to hand, and yeah, it's a fun fight scene. I think I do kind of think it was a little anticlimactic. Do you agree?
Uh,
It was
a
like it
little
was
bit.
better than like how Perkins died, but like I don't know.
I can see like a little bit, but I thought it was pretty good overall.
Okay. Because basically, like John stabs him, and he dies.
Or it's like
Uh,
it's a little bit like left up in the air. I thought because it never shows him dying, so I was like, does he die? Is he gonna like come back in the second one since we know there's a sequel? Because it doesn't
well,
show him
remember.
dying.
I don't remember if he's in the sequels, but I don't think he is.
Okay, so they probably died, but it never like I don't remember it ever showing him dying. Like it might imply that he dies because like John Wick walks away after that, and we don't see him get up. But it's like, well, someone could have come in. I thought it was kind of like left up in the air. I thought at least because it never showed him dying, or did it? Like, did
Yeah.
it show him like his? I didn't think it just like the last shot we get of him is just kind of like he's kind of looking down and like he doesn't look good, but like it doesn't look like he's like closes his eyes and dies. So I thought it was kind of like left up in the air. At least, this is someone who hasn't seen the sequel, so it's like I don't know if he's in the sequels or not.
I think he's dead, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
It felt like it was implied that he died to me. So
okay,
I don't know.
I thought it's like could be either way.
But yeah, that's basically how the fight is. Them.
Now
fighting
there's
hand to
one
hand,
more
and then-
scene. There's one more scene where
Yeah.
it like flashes back to the beginning of the movie, and then he goes into like an animal shelter or something, or pound.
Yeah, it turns out it's an animal shelter, and
yeah, because he's trying to like clean his wounds. He gets the alcohol and the patches and everything, and then he rescues another dog that was like about to be put down. I think.
Was it? I
That's what
don't know if was that the implication. I guess I missed that.
I think so. Yeah.
Because I thought it was just because he heard it whine and decided that's the one I'll take. But
I think it's supposed to be that the dog was about to be put down.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, the Wikipedia says that. So you're right. I missed that. I don't know. Is that because he looked at like a clipboard? I guess that was it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I guess I don't know. I missed.
I
that.
thought that's what it was kind of implying. That's like why he chose that one.
That kind of changes.
Yeah, he gets a new dog. Which don't say anything because I haven't seen the sequels, but if that dog dies in this like the second one, and that's like the motivation for the second one.
that's the motivation for
every movie. It's like he keeps getting a dog and the dog dies, and that's like how each movie starts.
I don't remember now, but I would say no. Because I mean, I don't know. That would feel really cheap.
I know. We'll see. I'm just saying it's like they best not do that. But hey, it's like good for him. He got another dog.
I do like how, because again, this movie didn't have sequels at the time, it didn't have sequels for a few years. I think it was like 3 years before the second one came out, and it was like it was kind of nice that this movie just kind of ended that way because it essentially is sort of like, well, what the fuck, John? Like you did all that for like another dog, you know? You're essentially in the same place as you started, but like now all these people are dead. But again, there's more to it than that. But it's like I feel like the movie was almost trying to make that into like a, you know, a thematic or like commentary or whatever, you know, like, oh, was it really worth it? But I don't know. I mean, for me, like, yeah, fucking dude, if someone like killed my cat, I'd fucking go after them.
They're dead. They're dead men
Yeah, they're
walking.
fucking. I'll go John Wick on them. Like, come on. So I don't know. It's like I feel like the movie, because I love the Vengeance trilogy by Park Chan-wook, where it's 3 separate movies, but it's like they each focus on a revenge. Old Boy is famously the second movie in that trilogy. Great, probably the best revenge movie ever. Although I do really like the other two in the trilogy as well. But like those movies really comment on like the idea of like, oh, does revenge really solve anything? Does revenge really, like, you know, is it worth it? And I feel like this was almost like, I don't know, it was like kind of in the middle, because like, I don't know, there's kind of two ends of the extreme for like a revenge story, right? Again, it's like, is the revenge really worth it? You know, and it's commenting on that whole idea of revenge. Or no, it's just a badass revenge movie, and like the people who, you know, they get revenge on fucking deserved it. Like Kill Bill or something, you know? And it's like, this is kind of in the middle, I feel. It's like there's certain things that feel like they're commenting on the idea of revenge, and then there's some things that are just like, nah, this is just a badass revenge movie. It's like, come on, I'm not sure if it totally works. Maybe I would have liked it if it went one way or the other, but I still think this movie was really fun.
Yeah, it was. I had a good time.
Yeah. I don't know. Anything else to say about it?
No, I don't think really. I think said all that I wanted to say. So should we just go ahead and rate?
Yeah, I guess so. Do you want to go first?
I'll let you go first. I'm not
okay.
Guy. Go first.
Well, I'm kind of in the middle between a 3 and a 3.5 at the moment. I really enjoy a lot of the like writing in this movie, a lot of the like setup and kind of establishing this world in a way. Again, like this like Hitman community and everything is like really interesting. And it's got a lot of fun action. But at the same time, I was like a little like, I don't want to say bored at times, but I guess I was like kind of like, I was like, this is less engaging than stuff before. You know, I kind of felt that way at times. But I don't know. This movie really is just like a really solid action movie, and I really do think that it's probably one of the best action movies to come out, you know, in the past decade. Even if I wouldn't give it like a super high score or anything. I think I'll go 3.5. I think it does enough things in it to deserve that. So 3.5 for me.
Okay. 3.5 is pretty much my score too.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like a really
it's really solid.
cool,
I think there's
fun...
like kind of like what you said that like I think there's some things holding it back to be like a 4 or 4.5. Because it does have like some pacing issues, and for me there's like some unsatisfying ends to some of the characters, but like overall it's really fun action film, definitely worth watching. Yeah, if you like action, this has plenty of like really good scenes, really thought out scenes. very easy to understand, like I was saying earlier. Because even like a lot of other action movies I can think of, it's like, yeah, there's sometimes where there are scenes and it's hard to tell what's going on. Camera's a bit too shaky, stuff like that, and
Yeah.
that's not a problem in this movie. Like all the actions, I think,
Yeah.
shot very clear. There's just a lot of creativity and fun. Like there's a lot of little things, kind of like what we were discussing. So it could be like fun to watch it again just to catch some more stuff that I might have missed the first time around, or like, oh, I didn't really remember that too well. Like I'm sure you kind of like went through that watching this, like so a lot of these like little things that you were mentioning.
Yeah, it's
Some of
it's
the
really
action stuff.
fun. It's really fun to just like watch this again, like having seen the other films and
I
like
think that this would be a fun movie to watch with someone too.
yeah, I think the John Wick movies are really fun with a crowd, in a theater. Um, See that action on the big screen and like get the audience reactions. Because I saw, I think the third one was the only one I didn't see in the theaters, but I remember the second one especially. There's some scenes that were like the audience was like really like laughing and having a lot of fun with it. Um, I think I watched the third one with Aaron though, and that was really fun. So yeah, it's definitely like these are fun movies to watch with people. Uh, and I don't know, the fourth one is coming out. I think there's a trailer for it. So maybe after we do these, I mean that's a little ways away, but
Mm,
maybe like you and I will go see that in the theaters and review that because
maybe.
I guess depending on how much we like the sequels.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah,
Well,
yeah, we'll be talking about the second one next week. Yeah, I think I've said my piece with John Wick. So yeah, we'll see you next time. If you want to follow along, go watch John Wick Chapter 2 on Tubi, and
they're
we'll
free. Go
yeah,
watch
for
them.
free with ads, but yeah, for
Up
free.
there, they're free. I think these
So
movies
yeah,
are also like pretty dirt cheap on Amazon too. Like they go for $10 or less.
yeah, I want to say I got the 4K with I think you can see it, right? I got the
Yeah,
4K
mostly.
with the first three movies, and I want to say it was like a pretty good deal for like all three movies in 4K.
Yeah,
So
they go for like pretty cheap overall. Like they're not
yeah,
expensive movies
I
or the
kind of
same.
like I kind of almost didn't want to buy buy it on Blu-ray yet because I was like, oh well, the fourth one's coming out. I should wait until they're all on one collection because I think the fourth movie is maybe going to be the final movie. I'm not sure. I heard some people saying the trailer had a sense of finality to it,
Hmm.
but I'm not watching the trailer yet until I watch the sequels again. So uh, maybe after that I'll watch it and then can give my thoughts on it. But yeah, for now, follow along with us by watching the movie on Tubi, and we'll see you next time for Chapter 2.
Peace.
All right, bye.